Welcome to San Antonio, Texas, where a battle for the top spot in the SCAC is about to be underway. The Trinity University Tigers versus the St. Thomas Celts. It's going to be a very interesting one as these two Texas powerhouses duke it out here in CalGuard Gym. For the Tiger Network, I am Reed Rosales. Joined with me is Luke Terry. And Luke, these are two teams that are certainly no strangers to one another.
Absolutely not. You mentioned two powerhouses in the state of Texas, but two powerhouses in this conference. These two teams have dominated the SCAC the past several years. 2 consecutive years, 2 years ago, where these teams battled out in the conference championship game. St. Thomas got knocked off in a semifinal last year. Trinity was in that game here in CalGuard Gym. Where we are again tonight, students back on campus for the first time this semester. It's been a long time. I expect a really high energy environment, and I think it's going to kind of follow the pace of the game that we're about to see. Both of these teams can really fill it up and score the basketball. We've had the opportunity to watch this St. Thomas in some neutral games this season, and they can shoot the ball like a few teams can.
Kalen Anderson versus Christian Green. Green wins the tip-off, and Millhouse keeping the ball inbound, so Tigers will have the first offensive possession. And already an aggressive press from the Celts. Dean Balo in the starting lineup. Green getting it over to Barry, and Barry gets it in. So first bucket for the game on the first offensive possession for the Tigers.
Yeah, and that's what they're really going to need to look to do, this Trinity team. Expose the advantage that they have with the length and the height. Braxton Berry standing at 6'9". He's going to go up against the starting lineup, Kalen Anderson, standing in there in that middle of the zone at 6'5". He has the ball right now.
Shoots it out. Tiger defense staying strong. Going in is Williams. And that one doesn't go. Gets his own rebound and puts it in. Calvin Williams puts it in for the Celts, so 2-2 now. Dean Balo working quick, shoots out to Millhouse. Millhouse trying to work his way in, out to Harvey. Harvey back to Millhouse. Over to Jacob Harvey yet again, and resetting the play a little bit. Harvey having to contend with some tough defenders. Barry trying to find someone, gets it to Harvey. Jacob Harvey working around, shoots it out to Balo. Balo with a tough defender now. Balo spin move, gets it in. And count that one and go to the line, Dean Balo. Great job by the Tigers taking on an aggressive Celt defense.
Yeah, a really high energy group right out of the gate right here in San Antonio. The Celts pressuring pretty far beyond the three-point line. I'm sure they're cognizant of the fact that this Trinity team can really shoot the ball as well. Starts with Jacob Harvey. Dean Balo slotted into this starting lineup right now because of the absence of Tanner Brown, missing his second consecutive game. He had started every one that the Trinity Tigers have played so far this year, but Balo showing why he is the guy stepping into that role. True freshman here in San Antonio, and he's been fantastic early in his career.
Celts playing catch around the perimeter. Long three does not fall for Marion Williams. Braxton Berry with the board. Christian Green driving it down quickly, trying to pierce the defense. That one will end up out of bounds, but Tiger ball still. And this Celt defense, very, very talented. They are the best, one of the best defenses in the SCAC. They allow the least points per game out of all the SCAC schools. And now Tigers trying to crack the defense yet again. The pass from Green to Barry doesn't quite connect, so Celts will get an opportunity.
Yeah, and while this Celts team might not have the size on the defensive end, they have length and they have a ton of athleticism, and I think it kind of got into the head of Christian Green right there. Originally trying to come in transition, got the ball knocked out of his hands. Usually we see him just elevate over the top, and it looked like he had an opportunity to do so on that last play. Just tried to force it to Braxton Berry, and right here, Celts sticking with it. You see a little bit of after the make extracurricular right there, but the refs letting everything play on, and it's a 4-4 game despite a pretty significant pace in the first couple of minutes here.
Wesley Hooker was the one with the takeaway and the bucket. Almost got another one there. Another thing these two teams are good at are turnovers, both leading the SCAC in that category. Christian Green, great shot. Tigers back on top, and we are going back and forth early on in CalGuard.
Christian Green is going to have to not let the athleticism, the quickness of this Celts team deter him from going to the basket. It's what he does the very best and how he has made his mark here in San Antonio. The 6'6" freshman has been electric out of the gates to start his career, leading this team in scoring. A D3 Hoops Player of the Week previously. It's really going to come down to his performance on both ends of the court. This Trinity team, again, without Tanner Brown, is going to need these players that have been big all year long to continue that, and they're going to probably need some other people to step up.
Foul on the floor right there. We'll see who they tag it to. Tag it to Marion Williams, junior out of Spring, Texas for St. Thomas. One of the best three-point shooters for the Celts and one of the best three-point shooters in the SCAC in general. Hand off to Harvey, over to Balo. Balo fumbles it a little bit, regains possession. Trying to get it over to Harvey, but read like a book. And that one will be a bucket. Great read by Calvin Williams. Harvey up to Balo.
Already, I think 4 points off turnovers for this Celts team. Just taking advantage of some maybe long passes, too long of passes that Trinity's trying to make. But Millhouse knocking that one down from the opposite wing. Good to see Trinity get going from the outside early on. It's the first make from either of these teams beyond the arc.
And St. Thomas responding in kind. A three from way downtown from Calvin Williams. And this is certainly something we're going to see back and forth because both these teams can really shoot and they can also both really defend. So which one will give is going to be the question. Green contending with Williams, trying to get it back out to Millhouse. Millhouse going in, getting it to Green, and the put in by Christian Green. Tigers break double digits. Celts moving quickly.
The last couple times down, it just really seems like they're trying to get the ball into the paint, use that size advantage, whether it's Christian Green driving off the dribble or just switching someone smaller onto Braxton Berry. They had the advantage there, but it was just better play and a huge lob that's just a bit overthrown. Seen both of these teams have the capacity to throw it up to some big men and throw it down with force. Christian Green has been the benefactor of that a couple of times. That one just coming out of almost nowhere here in San Antonio, trying to spark the crowd.
And we'll send it down to our on-court reporter, Caleb Reed. Caleb, what are we seeing down there?
Well, right now you see right now. These are obviously.
Well, we're sorry for the technical difficulties right now. We'll assume you can still hear us, and we're heading back into this one. Tigers leading it 11-9, and certainly the three ball is going to be a very big factor here, Luke. But both of these teams also very good at perimeter defense. St. Thomas is good defensively everywhere, but one of the Tigers' big points is to get bad shots from really great shooters, and they have a lot to contend with tonight.
Yeah, and this Celts team brings a lot of help off the bench. With the ball in his hands now, number 11, Nick Anderson, has been really impressive in that role in the couple of neutral games that we've seen him play in San Antonio. That one short from Williams. Trinity trying to get a run out. Christian Green stopped in transition. They're going to slow it down instead.
Barry in the arc, shoots it out the arc to Millhouse. Millhouse now dribbling around, trying to work his way in. Instead goes out to Harvey. Harvey back to Millhouse. And Millhouse up to Harvey, over to Dean Balo. Christian Green with the snag. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. And quickly counting down, Christian Green working his way in, puts it up, can't get it in. And the Celts will get the rebound and head back down the court. A good defensive stop for St. Thomas. And now Calvin Williams, the fourth, back down to Nick Anderson. New player on the court for the Celts. Working it in, number 23. And the quick shot will not fall for Wesley Hooker. but a foul will be called. So some free throws for Hooker.
And right there, it looked like St. Thomas was trying to take advantage of a little bit of a high-low action. Trinity very frequently this year using the 1-3-1 zone. We've seen some teams go up against it by getting someone at that free throw line extended, getting someone running baseline to baseline. It's been hard to deal with. Trinity communicating very well right there, unfortunately, for the home team. Braxton Berry just biting a little bit too hard at that pump fake. With the size advantage that he does have, he really needs to stay down on the ground.
Trinity, the number 7 team in the nation, as that first free throw doesn't go. St. Thomas has consistently been receiving votes in the D3Hoops.com poll on the men's side. And we are going to be seeing this clash of not just regional powers or conference powers, but really national powers in the grand scheme of things. So neither one goes, and in a game where every point is going to count, that may come down big. So Jacob Harvey trying to get to Barry, but the pass is a bit errant. Quickly driving in, and that one will go for Kalen Anderson. And immediately, Wesley Hooker back on the defensive front. Abdullah Roberts gets intercepted. Calvin Williams, the fourth with that one. Nick Anderson over to Angel Johnson. Now back to Calvin Williams, the fourth. And now the Celts trying to work their way into a lead. Anderson gets it over to Johnson. Johnson back to Williams. Calvin Williams back to Anderson. Wesley Hooker with a nice hook pass in. That one won't fall. And Braxton Berry with the board. Good attempt by Kalen Anderson off of a nice pass by Wesley Hooker. Just couldn't get it to fall. Millhouse over to Abdullah Roberts. Roberts looking around for an open Tiger, going over towards Harvey. Doesn't give it to him. Back out to Braxton Berry. Balo trying to work his way in. Balo can't find any openings though. And now the pass by Millhouse, or perhaps it was just knocked out of his hand. So Tiger ball.
Yeah, just 1 second remaining on the shot clock. Trinity gonna have to get a look right off of the catch right here. See if they can get maybe Braxton Berry something rolling to the rim on a lob, or if it's just gonna be a catch and shoot on the outside.
Over to Balo, quick shot. That one won't fall. Celts get the board, and now working quickly down. Luke Ramirez on the court for the Celts. Number 1, somewhere out of Cypress, Texas. Looking around, gets it down to Calvin Williams. Back up to Ramirez. They're passing around the perimeter. A tough zone defense do the Tigers have. And Hooker sinks the 3. So Wesley Hooker gives the Celts an advantage. And now Dean Balo over to Braxton Berry. Berry, I'm going to contend with this really stout defense. 3 attempt from Roberts, just too sharp of an angle, and now quick transition, and that one taken away, trying to get the pass to a teammate, but it is Tiger ball yet again. Balo working in. That one rolls in over the rim. So 1-point deficit for Trinity. Celts working very fast as this game is going at light speed right now.
Yeah, maybe not entirely playing to Trinity's favor. They have 6 turnovers early in this one, trying to get out and run. Also in the half court, they've made mistakes, but St. Thomas with that throwaway right there is gonna move their turnover total to 4 on the evening. So both of these teams trying to play fast, trying to jump out to that early lead. They've fumbled the ball a little bit. I think maybe hurting Trinity a little bit more so at this point in the game. It's led directly to points for this Celts team. Both of these teams, though, needing to clean it up at this point.
And we'll try this again. Going on to the on-court reporter, Caleb Reed. Caleb, what is happening down there?
Apologies about the noise earlier. Not entirely sure what was causing it, but looking at this gym right now, it is finished for a very good reason. You are getting to see 2 of the best teams in this conference. Of course, St. Thomas 13-2, Trinity 15-0. To see these 2 teams, or we got to see the St. Thomas team earlier on in this year whenever it was the Christmas tournament. Of course, St. Thomas taking both of those. A win against Luther and a win against Washington.
We're back here in CalGuard Gym, 13-14. Celts with the 1-point advantage, but it's going to be very tough for either side to get a sizable lead, it seems, as whether it be great defense or maybe a bit of sloppy pass play in transition, it's going to be perhaps a lower scoring affair than we're used to here in CalGuard.
Yeah, things just kind of seem to be in conflict with each other right now. Both of these teams have scored very effectively. St. Thomas almost 55% from the field to start. Trinity over 65%, but they're trailing because each of these teams are turning the ball over right now.
And Zach Fenn on the court for the Tigers. Abdullah Roberts puts the Tigers on top. So Celts are going to have to respond. We are going back and forth in CalGuard Gym. Luke Ramirez, some new faces on the court for the Celts as Calvin Williams goes over to Anderson. Back to Williams. Williams looking for an open Celt. Finding it difficult to find a teammate, however. Dishing it in, back out to Williams, though. Williams stepping back. 4 seconds left on the shot clock. He's going to have to put one up. And it's put up. That one is overshot. So shot clock violation. Luke Ramirez had that final shot attempt, but just couldn't fall. Now Ty Williams, new face on the court for Trinity, will be the one to inbound it.
Yeah, that last possession for the Celts, though, one of those new faces into the game, Ricky Altamirano, who we've seen already in San Antonio, was playing that free throw line role. That Trinity zone wasn't giving him any respect, though. If he wants to keep this defense honest, he's going to have to be a threat to score the basketball. He wasn't, and Trinity just remained on the shooters on the outside.
Contest under the basket there, ultimately ending up with the Celts. And Angel Johnson doing a great job to keep the ball against a very aggressive Zach Fenn. And now, once again, we're seeing a very similar pattern here of the Celts trying to find someone in the paint. They do this time, and that shot, little floater from Nick Anderson falls. So Celts back on top. Ty Williams this time drives it in the paint. He puts it up. That one doesn't fall, however. So quick working Tiger offense, not working to their advantage so far. But the Celts are going to reset this play for just a moment. Ramirez off the front of the iron. So once again, Tigers back on the move. Ty Williams now. Jacob Harvey back to Ty Williams. Tigers trying to break through. Williams in the paint. Hands it back out to Millhouse. Abdullah Roberts with the ball now. Wild congestion, but it won't fall, but Roberts will head over to the charity stripe.
St. Thomas trying to negate the disadvantage they have on the inside size-wise by just sending extra bodies anytime someone touches the ball on the block. Maybe a bit too much help right there from the help defender. Sending Roberts to the free throw line, but right now an excellent approach to this game from the Celts defensively. Trinity being smothered on the perimeter, not with any space to get three-point opportunities up. Just 2 attempts from outside the arc to this point in the game, none of them coming from Jacob Harvey.
And it's a tie game, 16-16. And Tigers will certainly need some key players to heat up. Christian Green back on the court. Always a factor to look out for, and someone who is just a pain to plan for. And now Ricky Altamirano going up to Ramirez. Also new on the court, number 33, Elazar Conley, working his way in, and a little fumble in the paint, picked up by Zach Fenn. Fenn 2-on-1, out to Harvey. Harvey puts up for 3. That one's not gonna fall. Tigers get the rebound. Harvey working his way back out. First 3 attempts from Harvey. Christian Green now looking for an opening. He's great at driving it in the paint. Passes it out to Fenn. Fenn over to Williams. Williams loses the ball. Nick Anderson up to Johnson. Back to Anderson. That one doesn't go. Great stop for Trinity.
And the length of Green really being disruptive in transition right there. And offensively showing what he can do. A nice step through, getting all the way to the rim. Kissing it off the glass for 2, and Trinity leads again.
Christian Green is a very special freshman for Trinity. And now, shot from within the perimeter goes through. Celts and Tigers trading blows, tied 18-18. That shot from Nick Anderson, making us all knotted up again.
That's a lot of what Anderson showed in those neutral games that we've referred to a lot tonight. Great shot making. We just saw it come from the outside. I think if you're Trinity, you're going to live with those shots from about 15 to 18 feet, even if they're going in. You'll have to adjust eventually, but for the time being, you're going to live with him if he's beating you from that range.
And here we go. The Celts put up. That one goes in. Ricky Altamirano. What a three, putting the Celts up 21-18. And it's going to be a lot of weight on the Tigers to respond right here, because the Celts are a team that really live and die by the three. And offensive foul. So Trinity turns the ball over. Last thing they wanted to do there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Need to respond in a situation like that after Altamirano hit that big three with confidence. We'll see what they can do on the defensive end coming out of this timeout.
21-18, looking at some of the stats for the game so far. Tigers, 9 turnovers compared to 6 for the Celts. The Celts have scored 9 points off of those turnovers. Certainly has been one of the difference makers of the game. And both of these teams, as I said before, lead the conference in turnovers, both roughly averaging 18 forced turnovers a game. So ball security and transition play is going to be of the utmost importance for both of these sides, because otherwise, if you let one side just pick you apart, they're going to run away with it. So both sides know that very well. Certainly Coach Smith and Coach Medina know that very well, having faced off so many times.
Absolutely right, Reed. And one thing you mentioned right there, running away with games, something that both of these teams are used to doing. It's going to be important for both of these sides to stay attached, because both of them are capable of scoring points in a flurry and opening up a pretty wide gap. I'm not sure that's what we have in store this evening, but certainly something they're going to have to avoid if they want to come out and be successful and get another notch in the victory column after tonight.
Altamirano bounding it in, so Celts with an opportunity to extend their lead. Back down to Johnson. Angel Johnson, sophomore out of Houston, trying to find a teammate. Back to Altamirano, who hands it back down to Johnson, deferring back up to Altamirano. Playing catch with each other are the two. And Johnson can't finish. So Tigers with the numbers advantage for now. Balo trying to go in. Works it in, shoots back out. And foul on the court. We have a blocking foul, I believe. So new face on the court, Grayson Herr.
That last one was on Angel Johnson. Just a little hand check as Herr was catching the basketball. That's his second of the game. Not necessarily in foul trouble at this point. He's going to stay on the court, but it'll be interesting to monitor.
And Balo going in, and he gets it. Tigers down by 1. You want to stay as close as possible, but if the Celts keep attacking the perimeter, you certainly don't want to be trading 2s for 3s. And right now the Celts really looking for an open shot, driving it in, and now back out. Wesley Hooker, that one off the front of the rim. So Tigers with a chance to retake the lead. Balo thinks about handing it over to Barry. Instead drives it in, and nothing doing there for Balo. Maybe a bit too optimistic, and almost stripped away by her. But the Celts able to reset the play now. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. 1-point lead as this battle for I-10 ravages on in Calgard. And quick shot is up, and it falls. Nick Anderson has been blistering the nets from within the perimeter tonight with those floaters. Balo over to Barry. Barry very seldomly shoots from 3, handing it over to Christian Green. Green all the way over. Now working the way in. Back out to Green. Christian Green gets it in. As easy as that sometimes for Christian Green. Tigers still down by 1. The new face on the court, number 42, Grant Jacobs.
There's just very few players at this level that have the burst and the size that Christian Green has. Just gets to the rim in a second. Braxton Berry with a nice rejection on the outside, blocking Anderson, who tries to take it away from Green, but instead picks up the foul. It's got some fans riled up here in CalGuard. Trinity going to retain possession. It's going to be Kelt's 5th foul of the first half. Trinity with just 2 right now. Tick under 5 minutes left in the period.
And the 6'9" junior out of Houston, Texas, going up against Nick Anderson, 6'4". And Trinity really looking to ride that momentum now. Jacobs getting it over to Christian Green. You saw how easy he scored earlier. Drives it in, back out to Jacobs, who takes the 3. That one doesn't go. Braxton Berry fighting for the rebound. Foul on the floor. And Berry being sat on right now by Kalen Anderson. And the foul on Braxton Berry right there.
That's also going to be Berry's 2nd foul. I think they called him going over the back of Kalen Anderson right there. Coach Smith going to make a change, going to bring Ty Williams back into the game for Braxton Berry. Don't want to risk picking up another foul late in the first half right here. So we'll see what backup big and Williams can do to try and limit Anderson. A little bit more of an even size matchup on the inside. Both of those guys at 6'5". Both of those guys kind of a similar archetype. Going to hustle, try and give you some extra possessions on the offense end of the court, play solid defense. Neither of them really going to fill it up in the points column, though.
Celts handled the pressure from Green effectively. Calvin Williams ended up to Wesley Hooker. Hooker, such a presence on the defense for the Celts. And now Williams puts up for 3. That one almost going in, but rolling out. So Balo and the Tigers, another chance to retake the lead, get the crowd on their feet and have momentum on their side. Grayson Herr trying to contend with Williams, but Calvin Williams is too aggressive with his defense. Calvin Williams drives in, drives back out. Wesley Hooker, great pass there. Angel Johnson drives back out to the perimeter. And now Calvin Williams and the Celts working it down the arc. On the inside is Angel Johnson, but no opportunity yet. 10 seconds left on the shot clock and some miscommunication. Nick Anderson thought he was getting the pass, but it was intended for Calvin Williams, I believe. And colliding with the ball, ends up out of bounds.
Yeah, and not something that I think we see out of this St. Thomas team very frequently. Maybe trying to do a little bit too much on offense right there. They had a lot of good open looks. We've seen Calvin Williams take some more difficult shots than some opportunities he had right there, but nevertheless, ultimately results in a turnover.
All right, we're gonna try one more time. 3rd time's the charm. All right, Caleb, what are we seeing down on the court?
Fingers crossed that it sounds good. It sounds good right now from where I am. Hopefully it sounds good for you guys as well, but this is a fantastic game that we're getting to watch. The 2 big dogs here in the SCAC, 13-2 for the St. Thomas Celts, 15-0 undefeated, of course, for the Trinity Tigers. We did get to see these guys 2 times over the Christmas break, with St. Thomas taking both of those games, an 86-41 win against Luther, and then an 87-61 victory against Washington and Lee. But talking with head coach Jimmy Smith earlier on this week, we asked him whether or not being able to see these guys in person helps over just regular film, and he said that absolutely nothing beats seeing them in person, and they are hoping that being able to see them in person over that break will be one of the reasons why they are hoping to get a good win here today in CalGuard.
Thank you, Caleb, and never underestimate the ingenuity of the Tiger Network. And Dean Balo and Trinity still seeking another lead change in their favor. Grayson Herr showing off some fancy dribbling, but a bit too fancy as he gets called for the travel. So Celts, once again, an opportunity to extend the lead. We'll see if they can crack the Trinity defense this time. 3 minutes left here in the first half. Calvin Williams in the red headband. And up the arc, and a great passing, and slammed down by Christian Green. Absolutely rejected, not in his house.
I don't think I've ever seen a block that has been more reminiscent of a volleyball spike than this one. That goes straight into the ground. Christian Green rising up right over the net like he's a middle and rejecting that one. The Celts will get it back, 11 seconds on the shot clock, but again, a little bit of momentum for this Tigers team generated on the defensive end of the court.
Yeah, we'll help Brett Thornton solve that one on the court as Calvin Williams puts up for 3. That one doesn't fall. And Tiger ball. It was an impressive shot by Williams to even hit the rim with the contested shot with a couple seconds left. But either way, Tigers, if they've had many chances, and if this game doesn't end up going their way, they're going to be talking about this all week long, I imagine. So Dean Balo getting it over to Green. Green trying to find Harvey. Instead gets to Balo. Balo really wants that 3 opportunity. And Balo, oh my goodness, Christian Green slams it home. It looked like a blown play, but out of nowhere, Christian Green comes in and saves the day. Tigers up again. And the Celts really need to respond, or else momentum will threaten to overwhelm them. Over to Calvin Williams, the person they definitely want the ball to be in their hands. And that one goes in. Great response by the Celts, but man, what a dunk by Christian Green coming in. Jacob Milhouse with the spin move. That one doesn't fall. And the Celts are moving quick again. Calvin Williams averages about 17 points per game, gets it over to the perimeter, and foul's gonna be called as Nick Anderson fouled on that shot. So 3 free throws, and what could potentially make this a 2-possession game.
And there was a couple of Trinity Tigers closing out on the perimeter right there. I think the foul ultimately going against Christian Green. Live, it didn't look like he went through the body, so maybe just a little bit of contact on that leg or on the arm as he was trying to get that shot off.
It's a 3-point game now. It could potentially be a 4 if all 3 of these free throws are hit. 24-27, minute 40 left. And all of them fall, so no jeering, no amount of jeering from the Trinity student section, rattling Nick Anderson this time. Milhouse and the Tigers really want to mount a response. Quick 3 by her. That one doesn't go, however. So Calvin Williams quickly driving it in. Look how fast he is. That shot not going, and it's going to be Tiger ball. Nick Anderson not too happy with the call there, but you really get to see the athleticism of Calvin Williams on that transition play.
Yeah, maybe trying to force it a little bit too much right there, but we've seen him in San Antonio make some incredibly difficult shots, so I can't blame him for the effort right there. But on this end, Trinity maybe going a little bit too quick in a couple of consecutive possessions. That last 3 from her was no good and came very early on the shot clock. That time, Milhouse probing in the paint. A really nice display of patience right there, sneaking that up over the rim to cut the lead back to 2, now under 1 minute and a half.
Marion Williams back on the court. One of the best 3-point shooters for the Celts. They leave the ball to Calvin Williams, however. Getting it over to Nick Anderson. Back out to Wesley Hooker. Hooker trying to find someone in the paint. Kalen Anderson driving it in, and that ball is lost, but it will remain Celt ball. 5 seconds left on the shot clock, however, so it's going to have to be a very quick play. Timeout on the court called by St. Thomas. So little bit of a break from the action as things are heating up in Calgard.
Yeah, we'll see if this is going to be a quick timeout. Coaching staff can just draw up a play very briefly. Important that Trinity can manage a stop right here with just 5 seconds left. Give themselves an opportunity to at least knot this one headed into the break. Maybe pull ahead if they can knock down a 3, but gives us a good chance to just talk about the fact that Trinity is being limited very extensively from the outside. Just 5 3-point attempts on the game. Jacob Harvey, only one of those attempts for this squad right now. And St. Thomas, while they haven't been incredibly successful, is at least getting those shots off. They're 3 of 12 from deep. Trinity, though, has only made 1 3, and it's something that they've used and just used very effectively all year long. So I'm sure both of these teams are going to go into the halftime break, go into those locker rooms, and be ready to make a plentiful number of adjustments.
And the inbounds, quick shot up, doesn't fall. Braxton Berry gets the board. And an errant pass off of Kalen Anderson, so Celts getting another opportunity here. There's still a shot clock, so they're going to have to get shot. No shot clock anymore. Correction there, 10 seconds left. So it looks like the Celts will opt to take the last shot of the half. And tough defense, driving it in, and that one rejected.
And very noteworthy because Braxton Berry defended without fouling right there. He came into the game trying to get a defensive stop at the very end of the half. He got that rebound, then turned the ball over, but making it up for it right there, staying in front of Anderson and allowing Green to come over and clean up from the help side.
And we'll go down to Caleb Reed, our on-court reporter, who has Coach Jimmy Smith of the Tigers on for a quick interview. Caleb, why don't we hear from Caleb?
So, Coach, early on in the half, I was hearing you talk a whole lot about getting in the face of the shooters, trying to disrupt their shots. Is that going to be something that you guys are going to be working on in the halftime adjustments as well?
Sure. Like number 11, Nick Anderson, is a really good shooter off the catch, and we didn't have our hands up on him. And I mean, every time we do that, he's probably going to knock it down. So we just got to focus on. They have a lot of guys that can shoot the ball, and we got to have active hands, or they're going to shoot them in our face and make them.
This has been a team that has really taken a lot of threes so far this season, but only 4 3-shot attempts during that first half. Are you guys going to try and shoot a little bit more during the second half, or are you guys just going to take whatever's open?
I mean, the issue right now is we're turning the ball over so much that we can't get any shots up, you know? So we talked before the game about the importance of taking care of the ball and not turning it over, and we're very uncharacteristically just throwing it all over the place right now. So we got to tighten that up in the second half, and if we do, I think you'll see our scoring become a lot more efficient.
Alrighty, awesome. Thank you, Coach. Guys, that's it for me down here.
Thank you, Caleb. And right now, looking at this first half, it's an extremely competitive game. And 28-26. So what we really need to watch out for is that turnover battle, like Coach Smith was talking about, because I would tend to agree that the turnovers for the Tigers have been quite plentiful, and it's hard to get any open shots when you're turning the ball over.
Yeah, and it's something that we talked about very early on in that half. Said it was probably not going to be a very high-scoring affair because of the first couple of minutes of action. It's a point in the game when Trinity was leading in the turnover category 6-3, I think. But both of the teams were shooting the ball very well on the attempts that they actually got up to the basket. That's held true for this Trinity team. They're still shooting almost 55% in this game, but they only have 22 shots compared to the 28 that St. Thomas has mustered so far.
And before we go into our halftime break, give you a little scoring update. Over in Kerrville, the Gents of Centenary currently leading the Shriner Mountaineers 29-15. And the Gents come here tomorrow to play the Tigers. So it'll be an interesting one to watch to see how much momentum they come in with. Stay tuned, because this is a battle for the top spot in the SCAC. We'll take a quick break on the Tiger Network. You have the timer right there that will count us down to the second half. Stay tuned. And when basketball starts, it seems like it never stops. We're back for the second half. And St. Thomas will be the ones to inbound here. They have a lead right now, 28-26. So first offensive possession, Luke, will seem to be very, very important for the Celts.
Yeah, and both of these teams will be interesting to watch them, see what adjustments they made at the half. I think that this Celts team was able to get some shots from their shooters within the arc, but maybe not necessarily from three-point range where they're worth a little bit more. See what Calvin Williams can do. Trying to start it off strong, he does. A nice step-back shot. That's the type of shot making that we talked about in the first half. What he's very capable of doing is Christian Green, again, just bursting right by the defense, getting all the way to the paint, but leaving it a little bit short.
Celts have the numbers advantage. Shoot out to Calvin Williams. Now the advantage is no longer Calvin Williams getting into Wesley Hooker, and Hooker uses the advantage of Braxton Berry falling down. And now the Celts scoring quickly, 32-26. Christian Green looking to lead the Tigers to score. Jacob Millhouse at the top of the key, over to Christian Green, trying to drive it between some defenders. Draws the foul there, as that is something the Tigers are very good at. They're really good at forcing situations. It's one of the reasons why they're one of the leaders in not just the conference, but the nation in drawn fouls. And now Dean Balo with the reverse layup. Some fancy moves by Dean Balo. Gets the first points for the Tigers in the half, but they still have a 4-point deficit to contend with.
One thing to note about that first possession, though, is the fact that the referees did blow their whistles on that Christian Green defensive split. Went straight through those two Celts to get to the basket. Drew the foul as Anderson getting position on the inside. Braxton Berry not able to recover and block the shot. The referees really let a very physical game go in the first half. I don't think there were fouls that went uncalled or anything of that nature, but they're really letting them play here in San Antonio. We'll see if that's going to continue here in the second period.
Kalen Anderson trying to work around Braxton Berry, loses the ball. That's going to be Tiger ball as it went off a Celt last. And right now, Tigers already with a turnover in the second half. One of the things that Coach Smith talked about is limiting the turnovers because they need to get open shots, and it's hard to get open shots when you turn the ball over a bit. And nearly another turnover there from Jacob Harvey. And Millhouse trying to get out to Dean Balo. Balo with the three. And that one doesn't go. Dean Balo with the rebound. Now Jacob Harvey thought about taking a three, doesn't take it. Jacob Millhouse puts up the shot from near the elbow. That one doesn't go, but another offensive board for the Tigers. Braxton Berry gets it in. And they keep on fighting, this Tiger team, staying tenacious. And with the whistle and the timeout on the floor, Tigers are only trailing by 4.
Yeah, and right now it's mostly been an effort thing in this second half. Shots not falling the way this Trinity team wants them to, but they're creating second chance opportunities, trying to weather this storm. St. Thomas, a much more successful time to start this period on the offensive end of the court. Some good shot making, had them out to that 6-point advantage. Trinity doing everything they can to just keep it where it is for the time being.
And we will hand it over to Caleb Reed for the first time in the second half. Caleb, what are you seeing down there?
Well, guys, we talked with Coach Jimmy Smith just before halftime, and he mentioned, of course, the shooting threat that the St. Thomas team has. Earlier on, towards the end of that first half, he was talking about, guys, we need to get in the face of these shooters. They are killing us whenever we do not get in their face, and it has been something that you've seen kind of carry over a bit into the second half as well. One of the big messages that he told to his team, make sure to space the floor, get some open looks, be aggressive, and get to the basket and score some points.
Thank you, Caleb. We still have some time in the timeout, but it looks like the Tigers are getting ready to come out of their huddle, and certainly one of the big numbers here is the steal statistic. St. Thomas with 8 steals, Trinity only with 3, so the Celts have been really good pickpockets, and the Tigers have, much to their chagrin, been victimized by a very good St. Thomas defense. They hold some really good offenses to limited scoring. The Celts now trying to extend their lead ever more. The quick shot, that one doesn't fall. Little catch and shoot action for Marion Williams, and a whistle on the floor, foul drawn.
And pretty typical play right there. Anderson trying to sky for that rebound. Unfortunately, Millhouse had beat him to that spot, was already well within the air. A little bit of contact between the bodies. Sends the smaller guy to the ground, but nothing malicious there. A little bit of an unfortunate bounce that goes the way of the Tigers. Continue to monitor the foul situation here in the second half, because neither of these teams saw the bonus as Harvey forcing the issue. That'll be the third foul of this second half on St. Thomas. Still none for the Tigers, but Harvey really trying to find a way to get himself going. Maybe a couple of opportunities at the free throw line is exactly what he's going to need. St. Thomas held him scoreless in that first half. And Trinity's certainly going to need him here down the stretch.
Harvey looking for his first point of the game. Gets it there. The Tigers trailing by 3 and forcing the issue, maybe wanting to force Coach Medina to having to sub some of his starters out if they get too many fouls. This Tigers team is an aggressive offense. That one goes. So 2-point deficit for Trinity. We'll see how St. Thomas adjusts. Christian Green providing some pressure on the other side of the court, but Celts work it down. Calvin Williams working his way back, trying to find an opening. Gets around Harvey for just a little bit, and now puts it back out for Hooker. Hooker all the way over to Williams, and Williams will be called for the travel. So Tigers now with an opportunity to either tie or take the lead.
Yeah, an interesting wrinkle right there with Braxton Berry going all the way out to the corner defending. I don't know if it was just people switching, happened to be out of possessions on that specific sequence. As Harvey trying to get going, and that one all but down. Around the rim a couple of times it looked like, and St. Thomas coming back the other direction very quickly.
And a great job at the connection to Wesley Hooker with the nice lay-in there. So Tigers almost taking the lead, now on the back foot again. And another errant pass, another Tiger turnover. It's been killing them today. And nearly an open 3 there. Wesley Hooker having to contend with Barry. Hooker over open 3. And that one's going to be sunk every single day of the week by Nick Anderson. You can't leave him open. 32-39 as the Celts threatening to start to pull away.
Largest lead of the game, and it becomes because of a defensive breakdown. But Green trying to respond, pulling Trinity back within 5, but he'll get the benefit of the foul there, and he'll head to the free throw line for the opportunity to tack on one more. Under 16 now in San Antonio. You see Christian Green's stat line, 12 of Trinity's 32 points so far this evening, now 34.
And right now, what Trinity is trying to do is maintain their spot at the top of the conference. They're undefeated so far. St. Thomas, they've lost one game, and that was against Dallas near the start of conference play. And both of these teams very good out-of-conference records as well. St. Thomas dropped the game against Latorno. Well, the Tigers haven't lost yet this season. St. Thomas trying to break that undefeated streak. And the Gents of Centenary will come into Calgary tomorrow. You see they're 3rd place in the SCAC right now. They're playing Shriner, who after going undefeated 4-0, had 2 one-point losses, one against the Tigers and one against the other Tigers of Colorado College. So the Tigers not being too friendly to the Mountaineers right now, but that is what is at stake, because whoever wins this will find themselves the leader of the pack.
Yeah, you see the level of competition that is present in the SCAC. But another thing to highlight right there, you look at that St. Thomas record, 13-2 is incredibly impressive, maybe overshadowed because Trinity has this unblemished mark at 15-0. But those 2 losses for St. Thomas, one of them came very early in the year, one of them came early in the conference slate. They've won their last 7. I think they're playing some of their best basketball.
That one goes in for the and one. Tigers still trail by 4, needing a defensive stop here. They've gotten them before. They really need them now. Calvin Williams has Jacob Harvey to one side. Now having to contend with Barry. Wesley Hooker with the 3 opportunity. That one doesn't fall, but offensive rebound. Next 3 for Nick Anderson. That one goes. So Celts respond in kind with a 3-point play of their own. Nick Anderson really helping out the Celts tonight. Jacob Millhouse posts up for 3. That one goes in. Jacob Millhouse. Nick Anderson trading threes. 38-42. Now Wesley Hooker drives it in over to Kalen Anderson. That one doesn't fall. Braxton Berry with the board. Tigers with an opportunity to cut it to a 1-possession game. Dean Balo looking around, down to Harvey, gets it over to Green. Green with such a good vertical. And now Jacob Millhouse, that one doesn't go. Rebound by Hooker. Now Calvin Williams with a little spin move, trying to get past Harvey, ends up doing so. And that one doesn't go. Battle for the rebound is won by the Celts. 19 seconds on the shot clock. And Kalen Anderson, oh, and the pass doesn't go. And Christian Green tried to get maybe a kick violation by slamming it into the foot of Calvin Williams. Ultimately, that play ends with the drawn foul.
And I'm not sure if the shot clock was very quick to reset here in San Antonio or if it might have stopped at some point during that sequence, but felt like it really should have been expiring one way or another. St. Thomas getting benefit of that foul call right there on the inside. But a couple of possessions ago, it was Nick Anderson who made that 3 off of an offensive rebound. This last sequence, Christian Green did a nice job of locating him once the Celts came down with a board. Wanted to avoid a repeat of that same scenario, but he gets an open look there, just leaves it a little bit short.
And a foul called there. And the Celts getting the whistles in their favor now as Trinity, as much as they tried to stay in this game, the Celts always seem to be one step ahead of them. This time, Luke Ramirez drawing the foul off of a missed 3 attempt.
Yeah, and Ramirez full speed, running, jumping, trying to just get a tip on a putback. And unfortunately for Ty Williams, I think the contact was probably minimal, but because the smaller player was in the air and moving towards the basket, he took a little bit of a tumble. Referee's going to call that every day of the week. Just a little bit of a tough break for Trinity.
Once again, Tigers trailing by 6. Christian Green trying to drive it in, loses the ball. Another turnover for the Tigers. Calvin Williams, he drives it in himself, and that one doesn't go in. A bit unlucky for Calvin Williams. Zach Fenn with the ball. He's got some fancy work himself. Kicks it out to Jacob Millhouse. Millhouse over to Christian Green to try to get the open 3 opportunity. And now good pass to Zach Fenn. Green to Fenn. And that's a bucket, 40-44, as it was a really defensive game. Continues to be chippy, but we're seeing some fireworks now. Luke Ramirez looking towards Nick Anderson. Anderson with 15 points on the day so far. So if anyone wants to ride the hot hand, they'd certainly give it to him. They get it over to Anderson in the paint. Back out to Luke Ramirez. Now Calvin Williams. Williams, 4 seconds left on the shot clock, tries to drive it in, loses the ball, and Zach Fenn punches it out. And that'll be a shot clock violation. Great stop by the Tigers. They have an opportunity to cut the deficit further. Abdullah Roberts on the court, while Christian Green will head to the bench. So we'll see what this Tiger lineup can do.
Christian Green going to stay in the game. Jacob Millhouse will check out. It was a very heads-up play right there by Zach Finn. Not sure he was cognizant of the time remaining on the shot clock, but diving and knocking that one away led to that expiration as Harvey carving his way in towards the basket. He has Trinity back within 2. Tigers have withheld a couple of really big blows here in the early going of the second half. Haven't let this one get out of hand, even though the Celts pulled ahead by 7. They're right in this thing.
Anderson back out. Torino trying to work his way in. Calvin Williams with the spin move in the paint. That one doesn't go in. Rebound? No, it's gonna be a jump ball in favor of the Tigers. So we've said this many times with the Tigers with an opportunity to either tie or go ahead. And you have to imagine that they are going to really want to take advantage of this one. They've made 4 out of their last 5 shots. St. Thomas 1 for their last 7. So Celts a little cold right now. Tigers trying to take advantage of that. Zach Fenn getting it in to Christian Green. Green trying to find Roberts. Instead does it himself, and this game is tied. 44-44. 12 minutes left to play. Calvin Williams driving in quickly, nearly losing the ball. Nick Anderson tries it. He loses the ball, taken away by Ty Williams. And now Jacob Harvey puts up for 3. That one doesn't fall. And the rebound is taken by the Celts. Maybe moving a little too fast are the Tigers. Calvin Williams trying to go quick and draws the foul. Much to the chagrin of this Trinity crowd, but that will slow this game down for sure. Timeout on the floor.
And there was a lot of contact on that Calvin Williams coast-to-coast possession right there. It looked like in the backcourt, someone tried to foul him again right at half court, and then he got all the way to the basket and finally drew some contact.
And we'll go down to Caleb Reed. And Caleb, it's getting pretty hot down there, isn't it?
It is definitely getting pretty heated down here on the court. Moving over to the bench, some of the things that I'm hearing around from the coaches, some of the players, we need to get the rebounds. The rebounds have been something that Trinity has kind of struggled with. Of course, Coach Smith mentioned it in the lead up to this game. Need to rebound, need to box out. But of course, on top of that, reducing the turnovers that we saw in the first half. So far, they've been okay at kind of tamping it down a little bit, but only 3 turnovers during this second half. It has been a great improvement, but one of the things that really kind of caught my ear during the last few minutes, whenever Jacob Milhouse went to the bench, he was talking with the coaches about why he didn't take the 3 and some of the language that he used, being able to see his teammate basically wide open from all the way across the court. It's just incredible how much basketball IQ Milhouse, as well as the rest of these Trinity players, have. And it's a big reason why they've been doing so good, and a big reason why this game is currently tied after that deficit that they were having earlier on in this half.
It's been a good comeback for the Tigers. Thank you, Caleb, once again. And some shots from the charity stripe are on the way for Calvin Williams. And Williams at 11 points right now could make it 13. He scores about 17 points per game. That one will swish in easy as pie for Calvin Williams. And looking at the scoring leaders for the Celts, that one doesn't go, actually. And Christian Green with the rebound. Tigers, another opportunity. They really want this lead to get the crowd on their feet. Christian Green over to Harvey. Harvey, quick 3. That one falls! Jacob Harvey, when you need him, he comes through. 47-45. Celts moving fast in response. Calvin Williams over back to Luke Ramirez. And up to Nick Anderson. Back down to Ramirez. Calvin Williams puts up for 3, and he hits a 3. And a foul on the floor. So another 3-point shot foul. A bit uncommon for the Tigers. So a chance for the Celts to take a 2-point advantage here. Calvin Williams coming in clutch for the Celts like he has done so many times. So many hard shots has he made. So much has he fought for this team, and now he gives them a 2-point lead.
Yeah, but a really good job from that Celts side right there. Overloading, trying to combat this Trinity zone. Just too much to deal with, and they find a wide open Williams in that corner. The rotation's late for the Tigers, and he gets the open shot off. But Christian Green not slowing down himself. He knocks this one right back up at 49 apiece. The Celts have had really no answer for him all night, as Finn ultimately comes up with that one. He'll save it, and Trinity's going to slow it down just a bit.
Ty Williams in the paint, draws the foul. And Zach Fenn, we call him the chaos creator for a reason. And the Celts feeling the chaos right now. Some great moves by Fenn to get the ball to Williams. And now Trinity with the chance to take a lead, their first lead of the second half, if Ty Williams can hit one of these free throws.
While he's shooting these, I want to go back to something Caleb talked about while he was down on the court. He was talking about his conversations with Coach Smith, the fact that Trinity has turned the ball over a lot, and the fact that in addition to that, they need to rebound better. I think we've seen improvements of that here in the second half. It's going to be really vital, given the fact that St. Thomas is leading both second chance opportunities scoring, and they're winning the battle in points off turnovers. Trinity needs to at least keep things where they're at in both of those departments by rebounding better, limiting those offensive rebounds, as we're going to see a foul called right here. It was Angel Johnson really just toying right at the half-court line. Zach Finn right on his back, kind of tried to reach around. Didn't seem like there was any more pressure as Angel Johnson was coming across, but that's going to be the 5th personal foul here in the second half. Both of these teams knotted up at 5 personals in the second period now.
In the paint, Alta Moreno. And taken away by Zach Fenn, picked out of the air. Abdullah Roberts with the ball. Roberts trying to drive it out to Fenn. Zach Fenn trying to get to Ty Williams, but that one's taken away by Nick Anderson. Anderson going up, and that one doesn't fall, hit right up in the air. And they're gonna say that one hit the top of the bar. But man, if that one would have counted, that would have been maybe one of the most miraculous shots I've ever seen.
A pretty good job from Williams, trying to go straight up at least the best he can right there. I think maybe, just maybe, Nick Anderson beat him off the floor. So a lot of contacts. Unfortunately for the Celts, not getting a call, but a turnover right there. Taking the ball back and going straight to the basket is Calvin Williams. Ty Williams not getting the benefit as he swipes down right there. It'll be an and one opportunity as the ball is taken away from Jacob Harvey. Williams, in defense of Jacob Harvey, has been absolutely tremendous all night long. I want to say that's 5 steals now. He had at least 4 at the halftime break. He's been absolutely tremendous pressuring on the perimeter.
It's not even the first time we've seen a play like that happen between the Celts and the Tigers, where on the inbound, someone comes in, swipes it, and scores it. Wesley Hooker did it earlier in the game. And Williams gets the lead back for the Celts, 52-51. Under 10 minutes to play here in San Antonio in the second half. Dean Balo trying to conduct the offense over to Ty Williams. Williams trying to get it to Abdullah Roberts. Roberts had his back turned. Miscommunication there. So now another opportunity for the Celts to extend the lead even further, as I'm sure a 1-point lead is not comfortable in any sort of fashion.
And after that mistake, Coach Smith going to go back to his starters, Barry and Green, both checking into the game right now.
Calvin Williams contending with Jacob Harvey, defers it all the way up to the top of the arc. Altamirano back down to Johnson, to Calvin Williams, puts up for 3. That one doesn't go. Contested for the rebound. Braxton Berry gets it. A good rebounding night for Braxton Berry. Christian Green trying to drive it in. Goes back out. Jacob Harvey calling for the ball, but Green gets the ball over to Harvey. Quick 3, and that one doesn't fall. It's still in the air. Nick Anderson with the rebound. And Celts in the bonus now, so Tigers have to be careful not to get too foul happy. And that one nearly swatted away by Zach Fenn. Instead, Angel Johnson gets over to Altamirano. Now to Calvin Williams. Williams trying to drive it in. Instead, it is right in the hands of Christian Green. Zach Fenn loses the ball, but it's going to be Tiger ball as that one goes off the foot of Williams and out of bounds.
Yeah, and we've seen this Celts team just seem so adept at breaking down, closing down at just the right minute. When these Trinity offensive players in transition try and go behind the back, try and throw a spin move. All of a sudden, when they're changing direction, they have a Celt right up in their face, getting a deflection, whatever it happens to be. A great dump off from Christian Green to his mate in the front court. Braxton Berry turned, and all of a sudden it was bouncing up at his waist. Good job catching, going straight up to the rim right there. He's getting rewarded with a couple of free throws.
Wesley Hooker back on the court. And Hooker, one thing Medina said about him, head coach for St. Thomas, was that they wanted someone with experience. And what better experience can you get than playing for a national title at Elmhurst? That is on Wesley Hooker's resume. They really needed someone with that kind of experience. And Coach Medina said originally they brought him in as a defensive starter, but he's becoming more and more reliable on the offensive side of the ball. And now some good defense from the Tigers, but Celt's able to escape it. Angel Johnson over Nick Anderson. Calvin Williams, 52-52. Tie game yet again. Both teams in the bonus. Thought about a three, instead going in just a little bit. Nick Anderson instead goes in. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Off the rim, rebound by the Tigers. Little contestation between Balo and Berry for who gets it. But Tiger rebound either way. Balo trying to go up against Johnson. That one doesn't go in. Rebound by Kalen Anderson and the Celts. Wesley Hooker getting it over to Williams. Williams thought about a three, and he takes it. That one doesn't fall, and Christian Green gets the rebound and draws the foul. He takes a hard tumble to the ground. And we'll have a little break on the floor. Green coming up slowly.
And Green's left leg kicking out right there as he jumped up, and unfortunately for Nick Anderson, who was in the vicinity as he stepped forward and threw that leg, it sent Christian Green to the floor. I think we're going to come back to free throws. He'll be in the 1-and-1 as Trinity is now also in the bonus.
And looking at these statistics, it's been a very interesting game so far. And Luke, one of the big things we're talking about is that turnover game. 18 turnovers for the Tigers, 14 for the Celts. It's been a key factor. And it's certainly going to be a big decider for this one in San Antonio, as you see a good look at head coach Jimmy Smith and talking to his team, as I think everyone in this building knows how important this game is for the conference, for the national level. If these Tigers want to host, getting a win here would be a very good win.
Absolutely. Puts a little bit more distance between themselves and anyone else in the conference as they go into the second round of games. Both of these teams will see, I think, the one conference team they have yet to play through their first round, and then they'll start that second round of games. A round of games in which Trinity is going to have to play the majority of them on the road. So you're right, getting this win now, increasing that space, that lead at the top of the conference, very, very important ahead of those games that they're going to have to play on the road.
Christian Green's free throw attempt does not fall. Christian Green, for all of his skill, is not the greatest free throw taker. So if the Celts would want to target someone near the end of the game, it probably would be him. But Calvin Williams looking up, gets it to Angel Johnson. Johnson trying to find someone on the inside. Instead, it goes up the arc. Wesley Hooker being swarmed by an ambush of Tigers. Now Calvin Williams with the same treatment. Angel Johnson puts up for three. That one doesn't fall, but offensive rebound for the Celts. They get to reset this play. 6 minutes, 50 seconds left in the second half. Kalen Anderson, the one who gave the Celts the opportunity. That one rolls out. Braxton Berry with the board. Zach Fenn, ball in his hands. He moves fast. And Fenn out to Christian Green. Green slowing the game down, wanting to catch a breather. And Green trying to drive it in the paint.
I think it's going to be a foul on the floor. Referee moving towards the table, held up his hand. signaling a hold. Pretty quick move that Christian Green was trying to use right there. Pretty marginal contact, but what you just talked about, if there's one guy you might want to send to the free throw line, it would be Christian Green. But you don't want to give away unnecessary fouls and send this Trinity team closer to the bonus. Although he does miss the front end of the 1-and-1, and Trinity comes away with another empty possession.
And that one a bit too fast for comfort, but Kelt's able to keep it alive. Calvin Williams up to Nick Anderson. And Calvin Williams once again. That duo has put some damage on the boards tonight. Long three, that one goes. What can't Calvin Williams hit? A tough three is made, 55-52. Kelts in the lead now. Jacob Harvey over to Christian Green. Green trying to get to drive in, spin move over. It's going to be a foul drawn. We have a quick update from Caleb.
And so, guys, as Christian Green is going to go to the line here, just a little quick update on him. Whenever he took that fall, he was holding his right wrist pretty hard after he hit the ground. It does still appear to have a little bit of an effect on him, but hopefully will not hurt him too much throughout this game as he manages to sink it. But whenever you are a righty with a right wrist injury, it definitely does cause a little bit more issues for a very physical, very dynamic player like Green.
Thank you for the update, Caleb. And Grant Jacobs on the court for Trinity now as Baylor will head over to the bench, 53-55. Christian Green making the front end of the 1-and-1. And UST at 9 personal fouls, so just one away from sending the Tigers into the double bonus. That one doesn't fall. So a 2-point deficit for Trinity. I'm sure having a bit of deja vu here. Calvin Williams goes up to Angel Johnson. Johnson with a slick pass into Kalen Anderson, and that one will go out of bounds. And we've seen some passing mistakes from both sides. That one, after it seemed like a really nice play, that one ended up being blown, so opportunity for the Tigers.
Yeah, and I think Christian Green playing that point of attack in the zone is making a big difference for Trinity in this half, certainly influencing some plays out there as he's trying to chase Williams off the three-point line.
Harvey working his way in, and bucket and one. Jacob Harvey does it again. Opportunity for the lead now. Jacob Harvey, who has been getting really well guarded by Calvin Williams all night, tries to tell him, hey, I'm still on the court. I'm still going to make an impact.
And Calvin Williams has really won the game on the outside defensively, but Harvey right there playing and using his size. He has just a little bit of advantage, but really good patience, really good pace to put the defender on his back. And St. Thomas, things beginning to snowball a little bit. A couple of consecutive turnovers as Trinity just knotted this game up, trying to take advantage and regain that lead on this possession.
And Trinity not used to playing in low-scoring affairs like this. Harvey working his way around, being surrounded by Celts, and that ball is going to be lost. So no numbers advantage just yet. Wesley Hooker with the ball, trying to get it all the way to Johnson. Johnson over to Williams. Williams driving it in, trying to get it to Johnson again. Nick Anderson, ball in his hands, defers it down to Angel Johnson. 14 seconds on the shot clock. That ticks down to 10. Calvin Williams, but we see him put up another tough three. He works his way in, and that one will not fall. Braxton Berry with the board. So 55-55, and Braxton Berry a little tripped up, and we'll go into the media timeout.
I think it was Trinity that took a timeout right there. Coach Smith was right next to the referee. Jacob Harvey also in the vicinity. I think they wanted a break. They wanted an opportunity in a tie game with 4 minutes left, just over that mark, to get a good play drawn up and really take advantage of this moment. They'll have 23 seconds left on the shot clock. but it's been a little sloppy both directions the last couple of possessions, both of these teams. Maybe just trying to recenter themselves and get something really good on this play.
And we'll head down to Caleb Reed yet again. So Caleb, what are you seeing down there with 4 minutes left to play?
Mentioning trying to be a little bit more re-centered. There's been a lot of chirping back and forth, not just on the bench, but also on the court. There's been a lot of talking by both sides. And one of the things that I've been noticing throughout this half, Coach Smith moving up and down the bench, just trying to get the players calm, trying to not have the players pick up any silly technical fouls. But with a very highly charged game like this, of course, a lot of conference implications coming out of coming out of the next 4 minutes and 6 seconds. But this is a very, very important game, and so it's very understandable that the emotions are running incredibly high in this fantastic matchup that we're seeing.
Thank you, Caleb. Tigers will inbound. No trouble there. Christian Green conducting the offense yet again. Tigers try to get the ball in his hands as much as possible, especially when he is scoring 18 points tonight. Christian Green all the way to Jacob Harvey, puts up for three. That one doesn't fall. Max Berry with the offensive rebound and will draw the foul. We'll go to the line for two as the Tigers are officially in the double bonus.
But very important to note, Trinity has not been a great free throw shooting team. Maybe haven't even been a very good free throw shooting team this year. And tonight they've really especially struggled. Just 8 of 15 from the stripe. And a tie game against the second best team in the conference from a standings perspective. You have to take advantage. Braxton Berry shoring things up a little bit right there. For a big man, he shoots it very, very well from the free throw line. He's shown very good touch all year long.
Celts now down by 1. Kalen Anderson with 4 personal fouls, number 5. He has to be careful now. Ball fumbled a little bit, and but we get a jump ball. And we are going to get jump ball. And it's going to be Celt ball off the jump ball. So good job on the Tigers for contesting that one. Wesley Hooker will be the one to take the inbounds pass. 3:38 left, and if you look at it from a fouling perspective, the starters for the Tigers have been much cleaner than the starters for the Celts. So all these Celt starters have to be a little wary of what they do. They can't get too sloppy in their defense. And trying to find an opening is Angel Johnson. Ends up with the ball in Nick Anderson's hands. Jukes out everybody, but that one doesn't fall. Ball still. And with the offensive board, Nick Anderson draws the foul.
Yeah, and just a tough bounce for Trinity right there. Looks like they had a couple of guys in the vicinity with the opportunity to secure that one. Anderson, very good preliminary opportunity, though. Got both of his defenders up off their feet. Just couldn't kiss it off the glass. Was at a not ideal angle for the shot that he had. But he makes up for it, earning a couple of shots at the free throw line now. And again, opportunity for another lead change here down the stretch.
And both of them are sunk. Celts take the lead. Trinity with just 1 timeout left. St. Thomas with 3. So Tigers can't take too many breaks. Harvey works his way out, takes a 3. That one doesn't fall. Contested rebound. It's kept by the Tigers, but that's gonna end up in Calvin Williams' hands, only with Millhouse to deal with. That one goes. So 3-point lead for the Celts. Tigers still with a 1 possession deficit, and this one will be ever important to get the ball in Jacob Harvey's hands. He's been so good from the perimeter. Now back to Green. Christian Green driving in, loses the ball, and numbers advantage here. Nick Anderson, that one is launched over the backboard, and it's going to be Celt ball. And no one in this court seemingly happy about that.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how that could have been the outcome. Either Braxton Berry got a piece of it and it would have gone basically anywhere else but straight up in the air, or he didn't, and Anderson threw this one away himself. Looks like Millhouse had a hand on the ball originally, but Referee's not stopping to review that. Celt's going to hang on to it, and hanging on to a 3-point advantage with a little bit under 2.5 left here in Calgard Gymnasium.
Calvin Williams trying to go in, and now takes a tough three, draws the foul, and Tigers haven't fouled that much from the perimeter, maybe ever this season. Mills, maybe just a bit too sloppy defense there, as with this late in the game, if Williams is able to sink these free throws, could be devastating for the Tigers.
Yeah, I would really like to see a replay of that one, though. Calvin Williams has certainly shown that he's more than willing to take some step-back opportunities, as that first one falls off the rim. He got up and kind of shook out his hand, took a little bit of an awkward fall. But just kind of have to ask yourself, what else can a defender do? Millhouse certainly running into the shooter, not necessarily running through him, but enough contact there to warrant a foul call. You're right, dangerous position right here as he knocks down 2 of 3 and extends this to a 5-point lead.
Ty Williams on the floor for Trinity. Celts on the 6-0 run. Tigers really need a response quite desperately. They are down by 5. It's only a 2-possession game right now. But with how defensive this game has been, it could mean quite a bit. Millhouse getting it over to Harvey, but instead it's intercepted by Calvin Williams yet again. And Williams will slow down the game as the Celts are going to try and kill as much clock as possible.
It's been one thing Trinity just hasn't been able to do all game long, is those long cross-court passes. This Celts defense too attuned to those, jumping in those passing lanes, getting out and running. But you're right, wisely slowing things down right here.
And the dunk is denied. No foul there. So Jacob Millhouse hands it over to Harvey. Harvey takes a 3, and that one doesn't fall. And it's saved by Ty Williams. Christian Green on the back end of the court, able to get the pass. And now a 3 from Ty Williams. That one doesn't fall. And foul drawn. So the Celts will head over to the line, as right now, really the difference maker has been Calvin Williams. 26 points and 7 steals. Can't ask much more from a player. And Tigers may have just signed their own death warrant.
Yeah, just a tremendous showing from Calvin Williams IV on both ends of the court. He's come on very strong here in the second half for this Celts team. Down the stretch, they've put the ball in his hands. He's made some very big plays. But I think all game long he showed up defensively. Was a big key role today in shutting down Jacob Harvey, who just could not find the distance outside the arc. Stoppage of play here. I think Braxton Berry has fouled out of this game. So Coach Smith will have the opportunity to make some adjustments, bring someone else in off the bench. And then after that, we'll see Calvin Williams try and give the Celts a little bit more cushion.
And the Celts have held the Tigers to just 56. They've been an offense that scored a little over 80 per game, and they are not used to this situation. Low scoring, chippy affair. And Nick Anderson, another one of those impact players with the ability to put this game nearly out of reach. 2 free throws to make it a 3-possession game. 62-56. Tigers down by 6. And they may soon be down by 7. Anderson doesn't get it. Christian Green with the rebound. So maybe some life for the Tigers yet. Zach Fenn fumbles the ball a little bit, trying to get it to Millhouse. Instead, over to Balo. Tigers scrambling, as that one was almost it. Christian Green taking the quick 2. And we will have a whistle and a timeout called.
I think just a stoppage of play here from the referees. I don't know exactly what it was. The clock had to stop at 1 minute because of the made basket and continued to run. So it will start again on the inbounds, but after every made shot, of course, under 1 minute, it stops. The referees are going to the basket now. Not entirely sure what they would be looking at, but a good job of kind of rescuing that possession offensively. Christian Green went all the way to the basket, got those 2 points to bring it back within 4, but gonna need to get some takeaways and turn them into points directly here down the stretch.
The officials are looking at how much time should be put on the clock. They're looking right now on the monitor. Let's see how much time they put on. They put on 59.7 seconds on the clock, so 3.3 seconds ticked off. And now Tigers down by 4. Need a lot of things to go right for them. First of all, really can't let the Celts score. And also they need to get 2 buckets. And that one's contested. Zach Fenn with the takeaway. Zach Fenn driving in, and it's in! 1 possession game. And being swarmed by an ambush of Tigers.
Called a foul on that one. That was the first signal from the referee. They're having a conversation now. We'll see if that's going to change. Second referee came in, gave the jump ball signal, and Trinity has possession.
And just like that, the Tigers back into position to tie or take the lead. The crowd is on their feet.
They have all of the momentum right now.
Good Millhouse driving it in. Shoots it out to Balo. Dean Balo, nowhere to go. Tries to get it into Christian Green, and it's thrown away. But it's going.
Had an open Jacob Harvey. It was what the play was drawn up to be, coming off of a screen, get him an open 3-point look, but Millhouse deferred, went to the basket himself, and things just fell apart from there.
The Celts know the dangers of inbounding against this Tiger defense. We'll see who they hand it to. It's lobbed up for Nick Anderson, and Anderson is immediately fouled. Christian Green, and that is Green's 4th personal foul. Celts are going to go to the line.
And Green arguing that he was going for a steal, kind of just missed everything altogether. Referee from the backside didn't have an angle, saying he saw a hit on the head of Anderson, who's going to go to the free throw line with an opportunity to turn this into a 2-possession game again.
And if Nick Anderson were to hit these, it would certainly be a momentum killer. First one made. Tigers are really going to have to be ready if this one ends up off the rim. And the Tigers will take their final timeout. It has been a back and forth affair, 63-60. Trinity, they need that free throw not to fall, and then they need to go down the court and get a 3. I'm not sure a 2 would be the smartest play.
Yeah, but with almost 42 seconds, effectively 42 seconds, there's a lot of basketball left to be played here in San Antonio. I think the fact that they were able to cut it down from that original 6-point deficit that it was what felt just like moments ago is really the first step. Now things are within reach, whether or not this free throw goes. Coach Smith certainly drawing something up. Will be interesting to see what it is, whether it's going to be for a quick 2 or for a 3 to maybe tie this one or bring it back within a point. But it also gives them the opportunity to have Nick Anderson go sit on the bench. Think about this free throw that's coming up.
41.9 seconds left. Every second is going to count as both these sides are going to head out of their respective huddles. They know that this is a game that will be for the top spot of the SCAC. Tigers really want to win at home because certainly it's not going to be any easier on the road at St. Thomas, which will happen later in the year. This crowd making noise, trying to rattle Nick Anderson. Perhaps the biggest free throw is going to go in. Christian Green over to Millhouse. Tigers have to work quick. 40 seconds. Off the clock now. Christian Green working quick. And what a move by Christian Green. One possession game again. 34 seconds. Calvin Williams swarmed by Tigers. Ball is out. Jacob Harvey. Ball is still free. It's going to be Celt ball.
And very quickly, the referees signaling that they're going to review this one, but I think they got it right. Finn coming over, knocking that one away, but a great job from Calvin Williams right there, diving on the floor, not giving that one up very easily. I thought live that Jacob Harvey kicked it out of bounds. And it looks like replay will likely confirm that. But I think that's why you're okay with going quickly right there. The defense they've played on inbounding in the backcourt the last couple of possessions has been very, very good, and they're showing that they can very, very easily take the ball away or at least create traffic that makes things difficult for this Celts team.
I think the question here is going to be whether Kalen Anderson coming in at the end there maybe got a little bit of the ball. Because I don't think the contention is going to be that Calvin Williams was the last one, because obviously Harvey had the touch after him. So I think that may be the part that the officials are looking at. And of course, either way this one goes will be big, because if the Celts end up with the ball, you have to think that perhaps it may be time to start fouling if you're Trinity and start hedging your bets on the free throw game.
Especially with the fact that if St. Thomas retains possession, now they're taking it out from that sideline. Trinity was doing a very good job of trapping immediately in those corners, but now that gets taken out of the equation a little bit. Unless you can get an immediate steal, you really are in a position where you have to foul and send someone to the free throw line. And at this point in the game, you don't have so much control over who you can foul. I'd be shocked to see anybody other than Calvin Williams or Nick Anderson touch the basketball right here for St. Thomas.
And the official still looking at the replay, really taking a close look at what the correct call is going to be. We're thankful for everyone who's working in the control room, making this replay possible. I mean, not every D3 basketball team has the opportunity to have replay review, and the officials talking with each other, and perhaps also could maybe be looking at the clock as well to put in case if a little bit of time ran off that shouldn't have run off.
Yeah, definitely a consideration right now. One of the referees stepped away from the table, sent both teams back to their huddles after they had come out onto the floor.
And let's see what the call is. Looks like, based on the point, they're going to, and they were looking at the clock. We got confirmation from the control room there, so it will remain Celt possession. 28.2 seconds on the clock.
29.0 seconds.
It's now changed to 29.
Referees really never gave an official indication here in the gym. But I think people slowly realizing it. St. Thomas lining up to inbound the ball right here. And unfortunately for them, it's going to happen right in front of that Trinity student section.
And here we go. Wesley Hooker trying to find Nick Anderson. He does. Anderson stuck in the backcourt and trying to get it. 10th violation. Tigers have the ball. And the Celts are in disbelief.
St. Thomas coach saying that he called timeout right there. He was very adamant to the referee, who just signaled that he put his hand up, gave the review motion, but I'm not sure that's anything that they can do. They're going to confer right now. I'm not sure what the confusion could have been about. It was not necessarily a situation where the shot clock would have reset or anything along those lines. Trinity was trying to tear the ball out of the Celts' hands. It wound up out of bounds. Possession never technically changed. So I think the shot clock would have continued to run, and then they would have had the remaining time before that 20 seconds to get across half court. And there wasn't that much urgency to do so. They were waiting in the backcourt for this Trinity team to foul them, and they just never did.
the Celts may have thought that they did. Perhaps they thought that they did have those 10 seconds to work with, because you're right, Luke, they really weren't all that adamant about crossing that half-court line, thinking they were acting like they did have 10 seconds, but when that whistle was called, every single one of them looked a bit shocked at the whistle.
And referees still not with an indication. They didn't point one way or another. Trinity players also trying to figure it out, asking the referees to point one way or another, but they're kind of just simply refusing to do so. But it looks like it will be Trinity basketball. So again, what a last couple of minutes we've had here in San Antonio, Reed.
And right now, 24.2 is 10 seconds. So got the ball out. Violation, just a matter, not even a second. 0.1 second was the difference in that call. So Tigers in a similar position that they were in for that SCAC championship just a year ago. Christian Green driving it in, pass out. Dean Balo with the three. He sinks it! Dean Balo sunk it! Tigers in the lead! Timeout called by the Celts! Oh my goodness, Dean Balo, the freshman comes in clutch.
Nylon for Dean Balo from the outside. What a pass from Christian Green. Celts have, in the last few minutes, done a great job of just denying him from getting all the way to the rim. He's put himself in a position a couple of times up in the air where he's had to kind of kick it out wildly. That time, freshman to freshman coming through huge. 1 point Trinity lead after things seemed very bleak here in San Antonio. St. Thomas just moments ago had a 6-point lead, a chance to stretch it all the way to 7. Instead, Trinity with another lead, 1 point, just under 16 seconds left.
And right now, the souls of both sides, they're on fire right now. They are playing their absolute best. But Luke, if there's one thing we know about this Celts team, is that they can make difficult shots.
Absolutely, and you can put it in a host of Celts' hands right now. Calvin Williams is going to generate a lot of attention. See if you can shut him down, but if he gives the ball up, he has teammates all around him that can knock shots down. My question is, how quickly do they go? Are they willing to take the risk of putting it up at the last second, or are you playing the foul game here if you can't get one made?
Calvin Williams driving down, no shot clock, 10 seconds left. Tigers trying to keep the points from going in. Calvin Williams puts it up, and it goes in! 3 seconds left on the clock. Calvin Williams coming in clutch for the Celts. They are up 66-65. What a play by Calvin Williams. He has had such a great night for St. Thomas. 28 points, 7 steals. He has been the difference maker this entire game. And now Trinity, you see their huddle now. They are going to need a very quick shot.
And what a job. Calvin Williams with so many white jerseys around him, absolutely swarmed right there. Just getting that one up on the rim is incredibly impressive, but that's exactly what he had to do. He put that one up there, gave himself an opportunity for a make. That one taking a nice bounce. Just great touch from the veteran who's impressed all night long. And now it swings back to Trinity. Another change in this lead. They're going to have to go the length of the court. They're going to have Christian Green at midcourt, athletic, 6'6". Wouldn't be shocked if they had him catch the ball and throw it to one of these guys on either side of him. Harvey and Millhouse also at half court.
Zach Fenn will be the one to inbound it. Hail Mary pass. It's up. Christian Green has it with the three. That one will not go. Jacob Harvey misses the last chance three. And the Tigers devastated. The Celts reign supreme in the SCAC. They will be in the top spot as they win it 66-65. And perhaps some painful flashbacks for the Tigers as this Celts team gets the better of them once again in conference play. A heartbreaker in Calgard.
I feel like we just have to take a minute and catch our breaths, Reed. What a finish here in San Antonio. Just an absolute boxing match between both of these teams that continue to throw punches down the wire. Really, Calvin Williams, the difference maker in this one on both ends of the court, but Trinity to have a chance to win that game at the very end of things says a lot. Just impressive for Christian Green to come down with that one, to even generate a look for Jacob Harvey. But I think one of the things we're going to have to take a look at right now, when we got a look at, Reed, is this box score. We talked about it a little bit down the stretch. Trinity finishing this one 9 of 17 from the free throw line, 8 misses. Eight misses in this one, in a game which they lost by just 1 point. They were oh so close, but I think everyone's going to tell you, I think Coach Smith will tell you after this one, you can't expect to win games like this one when you don't do the things like that right. Got out-rebounded. I think, again, St. Thomas had more second chance points, had more points off of turnovers, and obviously shot better from the free throw line, and they won the game.
And like we said at the beginning, every point was going to count. And I'm sure the Tigers, with all those opportunities to take the lead in that first half and that second half, they're going to be thinking about that all night tonight, because they lost this game by just 1. It had been a bit of a tightrope act throughout the gauntlet of the SCAC. They beat Clark by 1. They beat Schreiner by 1. At St. Thomas, they proved to be their match. The undefeated streak is over for the Tigers, but that does not mean they can begin a new win streak. The Celts are certainly going to be happy being at the top of the SCAC yet again. Both of these squads looking for that bye in the SCAC tournament that is oh so coveted. But still, now they have to go into tomorrow to play Centenary. The Gents come in to play the Tigers tomorrow on Saturday. That will be a 4 o'clock tip. Be sure to join us for that one as well, because that's going to be an amazing game, as now it is very important. It is as important as well with this Tiger loss to St. Thomas. Meanwhile, for St. Thomas, they are still on the road. They will go over to the Mountaineers of Schreiner. Schreiner has been very solid all season. It's going to be a clash over in Kerrville, to be certain. And St. Thomas certainly wanting to ride this win streak as long as they possibly can. Meanwhile, we will start the women's side of basketball between St. Thomas and Trinity here in just 22 minutes and 47 seconds. So for Luke Terry and everyone in the control room, Caleb Reed, I am Reed Rosales. Thanks you for joining us, and I'm sure you do not regret watching this game of basketball. It was a blast. Thank you for showing up.